This video is for anyone who's even the tiniest bit worried about what they're going to do next year or the year after for uni or for whatever, or how they're going to go with their study in general. Keep working hard, but don't stress. Keep a few basic things in mind. The ATAR isn't the final call, as this piece in the conversation says, and this has got lots of great info in it. Highly encourage you to read it. Two basic things that I wanted to mention: SEAS application, which is like for consideration for tertiary entrance. So that'll basically bump up your ATAR. It'll add points to it. Just got to ask. That's all. And the second thing is all the ways that the unis are basically competing to get you to go to them so that they get money from the government so that they can survive coronavirus, because all their international students can't come at the moment, and that's where they get most of their money. So get over to vtac.edu.au. What is Special Entry Access Scheme? Well, it's all in the name, isn't it? Who is eligible? Well, anyone basically who's had any disadvantage in their schooling. Everyone should fill out Category 1, and VTAC will automatically work out if it translates into a disadvantage for you. Anything to do with your age, your status as Aboriginal or Indigenous Australian, where you live, where you go to school, attending an underrepresented school. Some city schools are underrepresented. Most country schools are underrepresented. Applying, which means that a lot of their kids don't go to uni, basically is what that means. Some schools, nearly all the kids go to uni, so that's called overrepresentation. Applying for courses which have historically been underrepresented by a specific gender. Okay, let's translate that. Engineering has a lot of blokes. Nursing has a lot of ladies. So you are disadvantaged if you are from the gender that's not typical for that course or occupation. Coming from a non-English speaking background can be a major disadvantage, or being the first in family to attend a tertiary institution. Now, I don't want to suggest that. Another very important category is disadvantaged financial background. If your folks don't have a lot of money relative to the people around you, or just in absolute terms, that can be an educational disadvantage. In addition, this is a big one. Obviously, it includes anxiety, depression, autism spectrum, and many other things. So please look into that if you have experienced physical or mental health challenges or cognitive differences. Category 4 is just a bit of a general one: difficult circumstances. So for example, you may not come from any of the typical categories of disadvantage, but something's happened in your life recently that's affected it, or something that happened perhaps a long time ago. So anything like that, if you're not 100% sure, fill out Category 4 anyway. So this could be like a bereavement in the family, or one of your family members has had a few problems and that's affected your life in some way. The family's had a traumatic event recently, a car crash, or anyway, it could be something that even happened a few years ago, but it's still having effects now. So please fill out Category 4 if you're not sure. Just tell your story. So this may not sound like disadvantage to you, but it is, and that's why this system exists. We don't need to feel sorry for anyone here, but just recognize that not everybody gets the same opportunities, but everybody should be able to go to university if they want to. And so this was set up to make sure that you get a bit of help with that. But that's not the only good news. RMIT having some major financial problems, $200 million down on last year. Not just this year, but they're predicting a revenue drop of a fifth, 22% over the next 2 years. So this problem is not just going to disappear the second there's a vaccination. So you are going to be getting extra opportunities to get into all sorts of universities for at least another couple of years. And other universities like La Trobe are down, and many of their top people are taking pay cuts. They may be looking to get rid of some staff, some redundancies. It's bad for them, but it's great news for you, because they have their Achieve at La Trobe program, which is basically looking to get more local students into their courses to replace the international students that are missing. So they're going to offer you a free online course. If you can pass that, you can get into basically all of their courses, except for medicine and dentistry, but even then there's probably a way. So it's not guaranteed entry, but I think it'll be a pretty good option, I think. So there's a lot of courses you can choose from. Not all of them are available now, but there's a bunch starting in November. So, and who knows, there might be a similar thing going on again next year as they start to look at ways of continuing to compete with other universities in Australia. Even if international students start coming back, they're still going to be looking to repair their financial situation, all the universities. So I'm going to talk also about RMIT, but We don't just want to think about La Trobe, we want to think about Deakin, Swinburne, Melbourne. Federation universities are going to be doing similar things to attract you to come to their campus to study and to get your money from the government. And many of them are saying things like this: your ATAR is only one way to get into university and to measure achievement. Our research shows there are other ways to predict your success. In other words, not everyone with a high ATAR actually succeeds at uni. Not everybody with a low ATAR fails it. Over at RMIT, they have this pathways guaranteed thing, which is there's more than one way to get into the course you want. So let's look at some of the advantages of what they're saying. RMIT's recognised pathways provide opportunities for you to transfer from one RMIT course to another. There's always a way in. There's been side doors and all sorts of things for years, and I knew tons of people that did that. Education is about you and your personal development. It's not about numbers and who gets what. Okay, so you've got to step away from all of that and realise that there's always a way to get what you're after. Understanding pathways. The traditional path to uni isn't the only one. The traditional path isn't the only way we can get your money. Pathways give you the opportunity to access our large range of vocational courses, also known as TAFE, that lead to undergraduate study. Start somewhere with a qualification you can do in a year or two that will probably help you to get a job, and then continue, if you want, in a bachelor's program. And they're claiming that it's not going to take you any longer to do. You'll end up with 2 degrees, 2 qualifications, and it might cost you less money, because guess what? The vocational courses are much cheaper than university courses. Professional writing and editing at RMIT is a really, really great course, and it costs a fraction of an arts degree. You get to work quite closely in small groups with actual professional writers. One of them works at VSV also and has several published books. That could be your teacher at RMIT for a relatively small amount of money. To package pathways, here's an example: Diploma of Business, and then that goes into a Bachelor of Human Resource Management. Okay, fantastic. If no formal pathways, there are other ways you can gain entry. Depending on the course, this may include completing a certificate, diploma, advanced diploma, blah, 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 or undertaking recognised professional learning experience. To find out more, use our Pathway Finder. I don't know which ones are hard or easy these days. Let's do one that seems very big number, law, hard to get into. 2 pathways into a Bachelor of Laws. What are they? Pathway A, associate degree in business. You might learn some useful skills about business. Or an associate degree in legal practice, paralegal. Ooh, I forgot to mention, so the associate degrees are 2 years, and then the Bachelor of Laws is 3 years. Guess what? It takes normally 5 years to become a lawyer anyway, so it's the same thing. The great thing about an associate degree in legal practice is you could leave at 2 years or whatever and go and get a job as a paralegal. Why are you talking about law, Sam? Just because it's seen as a really hard thing to get into. And what I'm saying is, you get yourself down to RMIT, start one of their associate degrees in legal practice online, and then you can do your Bachelor of Laws. That's just to illustrate that a seemingly unattainable thing can be gotten. Unfortunately, as I said before, tertiary entrance has become a business, which means they want your money. And they want your money more than ever because there's a pandemic going on and their students can't come from America, Hong Kong, Malaysia. So that's what's happening. Don't forget, La Trobe have the same thing going on. They really want you to come and do one of these free online subjects, no questions asked, you're straight into the subject. If you pass it, you get to go and do an undergraduate course on campus at La Trobe. I've been there, it's a nice place, a lot of trees. Understanding your path. We've been talking about paths a lot, haven't we? You may want to finish VCE, but what subjects should you select? What course do you want to get into? This used to be more of an issue in the bad old days before Corona because a lot of the unis were quite strict about prerequisites. Well, guess what? They're going to be a lot less strict. We just saw it on RMIT's own thing called the STAT, which is the something admissions test. Here it is down here in the fine print, right? Always read the fine print. Apply for credit. You can apply for credit so your previous learning or experience counts. And there's a thing called Special Tertiary Admissions Test. Learn more about the STAT multiple choice entry pathway and how to sit the test. Oh, what? This is interesting. See how results from the STAT multiple choice can be used to meet prerequisites. You see what they've done there? They've gone, we used to say you can't do this subject unless you've done this other one, right? You can't get into our engineering unless you've done specialist maths or whatever, right? So they've gotten rid of that in some cases, or a lot of cases maybe, and said, oh, don't worry about it. Maybe just pass this multiple choice exam. So they're finding ways around their own regulations because they want your business. And just to give another university a bit of love, Deakin has its own pathways finder. Don't downsize your dreams just because you didn't get the ATAR you wanted or you don't meet the entry requirements for your chosen course. There are more ways into university than you might think. Our Pathways Finder helps you to discover all the opportunities available to you so you can walk away with an achievable plan to make your dream course a reality. Of course, don't forget about Open Universities Australia, who offer single undergraduate subjects from full degrees without any entry requirements. Gain credit towards your degree. So, and you're already an online student, so you have a level of ability there. So another great option. Victoria University have a virtual opening day coming up, and they are a very interesting university in the city and in Footscray, who have the block model, which is doing one subject at a time intensively for like, I don't know, I think it's like 6 to 8 weeks or something like that. So you just do one subject at a time, you get it done, and then you move on to the next one. Sounds really great. In my undergraduate degree, I had to do 4 at a time, which was a bit much to keep track of sometimes. So I usually ended up doing 2 to 3 subjects a semester, so my degree took a lot longer. If I'd probably just done one subject at a time, I probably could have gotten it done. Oh, and look at this, free TAFE 2020. They'll probably be extending that to next year as well, under the government's free TAFE initiative. The other reason I mentioned VU is because it was ringing a bell before. VU's admissions approach is is that they say, yes, it can be overwhelming, so we make it as simple as possible. While we do consider an ATAR for some courses, your ATAR is not considered for the majority of courses in the admissions process. All you need to do is ensure you have met the relevant prerequisites and preference us through VTAC, or apply direct, depending on your circumstances. So another great uni to keep in mind, who are clearly willing to look at your application. And so, for example, they've got this guy here who's like, look, I got my degree, I became a sports scientist in the A-League, I fulfilled my dream, and I didn't have a high ATAR. That brings me back to prerequisites. So I've gone to the VTAC website, and I have gone to the Prerequisite and Course Explorer, and I have searched up English and Maths, further Maths, which is a combination that a lot of people have. Now, 833 courses commencing in 2022 match your search. That's more courses than anyone could ever need. No prerequisites published for this course. And then I thought, wait a minute, maybe it's just the first few. So 3D animation and VFX, no prerequisites. RMIT, accountancy, units 3 and 4, any English. Accounting, CQU, Melbourne and online, no prerequisites published for this course. Charles Sturt, no prerequisites published for this course. And then I thought, well, hang on, let's have a look. 735 mentions of the word no prerequisites on this page alone, and there's probably other ones as well. Accounting, no prerequisites. Accounting and bookkeeping, no prerequisites. Financial risk management. Acupuncture, no prerequisites. Advertising and media, no prerequisites. Aging support, no prerequisites. Agribusiness, no prerequisites. Agriculture/law. Well, there's an alcohol and other drugs, so that's like a social work degree, no prerequisites. Allied health, no prerequisites. That's a huge growth area, allied health. Analytics, Anglis International Hotel School, respected culinary school, learn how to cook, no prerequisites. Animal technology at Box Hill, no prerequisites. On and on it goes, and that's just the A's. There's just an incredible range of courses with no prerequisites. But even if there's one you've picked that has prerequisites, call them or send them an email and say, here's what I want to do, here's what I got, can you help me out? And you never know. They might write straight back and say, of course, no problem. Let's talk more. Maybe we'd like you to do these tests. Maybe we'd like you to come for an interview or whatever, but they'll probably work something out.